Hi everybody. I know we didn't get to do the intro to chapter 8 today because in class we ran out of time, but I thought I'd make a little crappy video for you. Sorry, it's like not good quality, but it's like I'm just in my office and I'm just gonna make one right now. So you can watch it if you want. It's totally optional, you don't have to, but it's just for any of you guys who want to like kind of know what chapter 8 is going to be about before you like get there. Okay. So I'm going to make this R notebook available to you, and I'll put this video and the R notebook together at the beginning of chapter 8, just in case, you want to watch it. And here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm just going to load all my libraries, all my packages, because I have to tell R, hey, I might want to use these functions. And I'm also going to make this Happy Beer data frame. It's basically what we've been doing, except I'm filtering out any countries that don't have beer servings. So you could look at this closely, but it's very similar to what we did with spirit 3 groups. We're just doing it with beer 3 groups. I'm going to run that. Boom. All right, and so here I just did head Happy Beer, and here's what it looks like. It's all the same stuff you know, but when you look at this, it's country, region, happiness, blah, blah, blah. And then when you go to the very end, you'll see beer 3 group. And so remember Albania, they drank a lot of spirits, but it turns out they don't drink as much beer. So they're a medium beer group. Algeria tends to be low beer as well as low spirits. Angola, I think they were medium spirits, but they're actually high beer drinkers, right? All right. So this is all stuff we've done before. This is like chapter 5 stuff. Let's look at our empty model, right? And so I'm just going to run this. I'm getting the happy stats just for happiness. And I'm also getting a little, it's like a dot plot, a point plot, a scatter plot, right? GF point with low beer, medium beer, and high beer. And notice that we might be able to explain some of that variation, but the empty model doesn't explain any variation. It just says, look, no matter what country you are, I'm just going to guess you are 5.9 in happiness, right? That's that empty model. All right, so now let's look at what our beer 3 group looks like. You don't need to know this code. This is just my little hack to like get the little tomato bars to show up. And here's the thing, take a look. If we looked at the mean of each of these groups, the low beer, medium beer, and high beer groups, we would actually get different means, right? And so if you are a very high beer drinking country, then we should actually guess, maybe you're higher in happiness, right? But the empty model doesn't do that. Only the beer 3 group model does that. But my point is, this is kind of strange. We could do this, or we could just represent it like as a line, right? And in chapter 8, you're going to learn how to put this line on there. And take a look. When we did it as a line, it basically gives us that same pattern, right? Not only that, but why are we grouping them into 3 beer groups when, these countries, they don't drink exactly the same amount of beer. Some countries drink a lot of beer, some countries don't drink a lot of beer, even within one medium beer drinking group. So why don't we show that, right? So here, I'll just run the point plot first. You see, there's actually this pattern where in general, the higher and higher you go in beer drinking, the higher in happiness you are. But we lose a lot of that information when we chunk it up into 3 groups. So isn't there a way where we could like keep it like this? Well, there is, and that's what chapter 8 is about. So what we're going to do is, first of all, I'm going to show you how to put the empty model on here. And that you already know. I'm just going to use my happy stats. I already have it saved. So if it's GF, is it a vertical line or a horizontal line? It's happiness, so we want a horizontal line, so H line. And then I want to put the Y in, wait, is it the Y-intercept? Yes, Y-intercept, because it's the Y-axis. The Y-intercept. And I'm going to make that tilde mean. I only do that tilde because I want to let it know, hey, the mean, it's like a variable, so tilde. And then data equals happy.stats. It's just something I saved before. All right, so I've added on this empty model, right? And I always like to keep my empty model in blue so that I can remember that it's my empty model, right? So I'm going to add that on first, and I'll run that code, and here's what that looks like. It should just add my horizontal line, right? And you could imagine every one of these countries, like take this country for instance. This country, if I draw the residual, that residual is positive because that data point is above my empty model. And then if I draw a square, right, that's my squared residual. Now imagine I have those squares for every single data point here. That would be my sum of squares total for the empty model. But now I'm going to add on what we're going to start to call a regression model. And the code is actually very easy. It's just GF underscore LM. And I'm going to put in a color. Color equals orange. I'll make my regression line in orange. And it's going to fit a linear model to this. That's what LM stands for. And just stick it on there. So here we go. So here's the difference. Take one of those data points, like take one of these guys, one of these countries. Now, instead of being off by this much, because it was off by this whole distance to the blue line, now it's only off by this much, this little distance, smaller distance at least, to the orange line, right? And so take this point, for instance. Before, it was off by this much. The residual was this big. So this is like almost an 8. This is almost 6. So like 2 happiness points, whatever happiness is measured on. Right? But now, my distance to the orange line, to that prediction, it's like a lot less. It's like about 1 away. Before it used to be like 2 happiness points away. Now it's like 1 happiness point away, right? So that's what the linear model is going to be about. And that's what chapter 8 is all about, trying to figure that out.